Today, I am speaking about Hariharaditya. This is an example of syncretism in medieval South Indian art represented in Kikkeri Brahmeshwara temple. I have seen only one such examples from the Hoysala sculpture or Hoysala temples. This is a very interesting one. There is no other examples are available in Hoysala temples so far. What I am doing in the research, I have not seen anything, uh, the second image of such kind. But anyhow, in Kalyana Chalukya times only, an inscription from Balligave, it mentions about a Hariharaditya Deva. There was a temple which is dedicated to Harihara Aditya, but we have not seen the image. But one such image is seen on the south wall of Kikkeri Brahmeshwara temple. Very interestingly, we have to see what is the importance of Hariharaditya, why they made it Hariharaditya, what is the idea behind that, what was the ideology of the ruler to make such a wonderful example in South Indian art, that we have to think. So syncretism, so this is the best idea. The subject is very good for the discussion, and that's what I was very interesting to participate in the seminar. Why? Because the syncretism in the Western ideology and syncretism in Indian context, both are different. Why it is a different? Because when Western ideology, if they follow a particular sect or religion, if they conquer other religion or other country, they introduce their own religion forcefully to the other people where they conquered. In India, it is not happened such way. Now, because if you go and see in Roman and any empire in Western world, where the other people conquered the total country and their religion is completely destroyed or removed from their original land, only 33 gods are there. But in Indian context, wherever you go, they say that the crores of gods are there in Hinduism, people used to say. But this is not the truth. Veda mentions only 33 gods, and all are divided into 3 groups. So it is all read in the BA or MA classrooms. Later, it is considered as 33 crores of gods. Crores means groups, that's it. But there is no such number of gods in Hinduism. If you find or if you calculate the gods, you cannot get 33 crores of names. It is only 33 gods are seen in Hindu philosophy. And if you essence of the Veda and Upanishads, always it says that there is a one Parabrahman. That is, one Parabrahma means in Sanskrit it is a supreme Godhead. Only one God is there. Eko Devaha Sarva Bhuteshu Gudaha. Only one God is residing everywhere in everything. What Vedas and Upanishads they say. According to, it speaks about Sattva Guna or Vishnu, or Rajasa Guna speak about Brahma, and Tamasa Guna speaks about the Shiva, the glorification of Shiva. Why they are called Sattvika, Rajasa, Tamasa? Because in Hindu philosophy, they believe that Sattva Guna is given to, represents the Vishnu, Rajasa represent Brahma, and Tamasa Shiva. It may be different from like Shiva Purana. Shiva Purana, they say that they are Sattvikas, and Brahma is Rajasa and other is Tamasa. So like that, Brahma Vadins also, they say that Brahma is Sattvika. It is all left to their ideology in Puranas. So now, very importantly, we have to see that Astika and Nastika. There was a conflict between orthodox and heterodox religions. When the rise of Jainism and rise of Buddhism, after the rise of Jainism and Buddhism, they rejected the supremacy of Veda and they never accepted Vedic scripture as the pramana sources, and also they are called Nastikas because the conflict between Shakta, Vaishnava, and Shaiva became very dominant in the medieval society. That's what the kings, the rulers wanted to bring a harmony in that situation. The hatred debates and literatures are produced. The kind of unrest started in South India that is mentioned in almost all the historical events, history writers, and also literature, and also in the inscriptions. Then what happened? There was an emergency to syncretism, to make a rest, peace in the society, to bring harmony. They wanted it because the Indian rulers always, they they maintained all the samayas. All the samayas means all the sects equally. They patronized all the dharmas, even Bodha dharma and Jaina dharma and also Hindu dharma. So that's what they wanted to bring harmony in the society. At the same time, you can see in the early Chalukyas, like Badami Chalukyas only, we can see syncretism right from Chalukyas. And Kulkarni sir was mentioning, and also Padma Priya was showing some of the images from Chalukyas of Badami. The Harihara concept is in Puranas. That the same, what to say, Shankaracharya also brought all the Shen Matas in a equality, that is called Shanmata Stapakacharya. He is also called Shanmaka Stapakacharya because he wanted to create a harmony between the sects. And the temples are also dedicated for Harihara, to bring that there is a no god is higher or no god is lower, no one is superior, no one is lower, because all are the forms of the Lord only, Supreme Parabrahman only. Whether it is Shiva or Vishnu, it is the same. They wanted to bring harmony. They produced a lot of Harihara Murtis. Even at the time of Hoysala, a special temple was dedicated to Harihara. The town name is also given as a Harihara Pura. Even today it exists in Davangere, very near to Davangere. There is a Harihareswara Murti. And even Harihara images are seen in Hoysala walls, and also temple, particular temple is also dedicated. So Harihara concept was very popularized to bring harmony in the society. Why? Because it was happening in Uttara Karnataka, in Basavanna's Vachana also, and also in Tamil Nadu. There was some unrest because of this disputes between Hari and Hara followers. So that's what the Durga is also considered as a sister of Lord Narayana, which is also in Purana. They say that Shakta, wherever a Shakta philosophy is there, the Shakti is considered as Narayana's sister. Then what happens? The Vaishnava followers also accept the Durga. Then what happens? There is a harmony between Shaktas, Shaivas, and Vaishnavas. They wanted to do that. At the same time, Sun God is also considered as Brahma only, Chaturmukha Brahma, because Sun is the power of creation. It is even modern science accepts that without Sun, nothing can be created. Without Sun, there will be no existence of animals or anything in this world. So that's what the Sun God is also considered as a Brahma because of creation. So now Vishnu, Shiva, and Aditya. Aditya is considered as a god of creation. So god of creation in Hinduism is Brahma. So they wanted to make Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva all are same, similar, equal. So then the rulers wanted to establish social harmony. They wanted, because a good governance is possible only at the time of the peace, internal peace. If there is an internal chaos, there is no chance of good governance. When there is no good governance in the society, then they cannot do anything creative or they cannot do anything more. So that's what they wanted to make the society peaceful. So that's what they supported these ideas. So Shiva, Vaishnava, sectarian disputes was in 10th century. It was high because we can quote one more example from the history that Ramanujacharya, he left Tamil Nadu and he came to Karnataka because of there is a dispute between the Vaishnavas and Shaivas. That is also mentioned. So that is the thing happening. So the kings wanted to make social peace, social harmony. They supported the syncretism in the society. So Shiva, Vaishnava, the Hoysalas in medieval times supported in this concept, especially Harihara concept and also Hariharaditya concept. They donated for Shiva temples, they donated for Vaishnava temples. Also, they built many Jaina basadis also. So Hariharaditya is a special case, a special art representation. Only one, I said already, one example from Kikeri Brahmeshwara temple. It is seen. It syncretizes the Shiva amalgamation of three ideologies, and I can say four ideologies. Shiva means Shaiva ideology, and Vaishnava Vishnu ideology, and Saura it is a sun god ideology, and Brahma. There are four concepts, four ideologies amalgamated in one concept. So you can see here, this is the Hariharaditya image which is seen in the Kikeri Brahmeshwara temple. The south side of the wall, it is represented. You can see here, it has 6 hands. The upper 2 hands are having Shankha and Chakra. That is the representation of Vishnu. The Vishnu Paratattva symbols are seen here in the form of Shankha and Chakra. It says that he is a Vishnu here. And also Trishula and Damaru. You can see Trishula and Damaru in the second 2 hands, the lower 2 hands. It represents the Shiva, and 2 lotus buds or 2 lotuses. It is the representation of Surya, and he is in Sthanaka Bhangi, that is the Sthanaka posture, and you can see there is a vehicles are also carved in the bottom. Nandi is seen on the right side of the image. Garuda is carved on the left side of the image, and also there are 7 horses are also seen. So Nandi represents, he is the vehicle of Shiva, he is in the right side, and also Garuda is on the left, he represents the Vishnu, and Sapta Suryas are the rays of life, that is represents the sun. It is showing symbolically, this image represents the amalgamation of Vaishnava, Shaiva and Saura and also Brahma concept. So we have to observe one more thing here. It also represents the concept of Ekapada Murti of Shiva. Why? Because in Ekapada Leela, Shiva's right side is dedicated to Brahma and the left side is dedicated to Vishnu. Here also, the left side is dedicated to Vishnu only, but in the center, instead of Shiva, Brahma concept is there, means Surya concept is there. But if you consider Ekapada Leela concept, the Kikeri Brahmeshwara temple, in the right side, Brahma portion only having this image. So that's what, in the temple itself, the total right side is represents Brahma part, and the Brahma image is carved all around. So same way, in the left side of the temple, almost all the wall is dedicated to Vishnu images, and the center image is Shiva. So Ekapada concept is followed in that particular temple itself and also in this particular image. So this is the Kikeri Brahmeshwara temple, and this temple is dedicated to Brahmeshwara, that is Lord Shiva. So the combination of ideologies of Shaiva, Vaishnava and Saura and Brahma is seen in this image. Temple is dedicated to Brahmeshwara, that is Lord Shiva, constructed by Bommavve Nayakitti, a commander's wife, in the reign of Hoysala Veera Narasimha in Common Era 1171 in the 11th century. And you can see iconographical features of complete Vishnu, Shiva and Surya is seen in that image. So concept of Tripurusha also seen here to make it very social peace and harmony. And also I said already earlier also said that same Hariharaditya image reference is seen in Kalyana Chalukya inscription at Belligave, and it is the concept of Ekapada Leela. What actually this cultural representation. There is an example here, what it says. So there is a one God who is supreme, and you can call him in any name, that is Surya or Shiva or Brahma or Vishnu, but he is one. The same, he is expanded in many different forms. So that's what, there is a no, what you say, need of fight or conflict. You can believe in Shiva, or you can believe in Saura, or you can believe in Vishnu, no problem. But dispute and debate and hatred is not required, because all gods are one, and you can call it sponsored by Hoysalas. And social unity was the main focus of the ruler. I already said that unrest society cannot create anything. So ruler wanted to make peace in the society. The peace in the society will give more opportunity to the ruler and also to the people for their betterment. Hoysala kings never supported sectarian disputes in their religion and including sculptures. You cannot see the sectarian disputable images in Hoysala temple. For example, Sharabeshwara is not seen anywhere in the temple. So like that, Hoysalas followed the concept of Ekam Sat Vipraha Bahuta Vadanti, and one of the inscriptions of Beluru Prashasti, that is Vishnuvardhana's victory, it glorifies the victory of Hoysala Vishnuvardhana in front of the Beluru temple. There is one shloka. It is very popular. You may be knowing, total, even in the temples, they used to say that. What is that? Yam Shaivas Samupasate Shiva iti Brahmeti Vedantinaha Bauddha Buddha iti Pramana Patava Karteti Nayayikaha Arhan Nityata Jaina Shasana Rataha Karteti Mimamsakaha Soyamvo Vidudati Vanchita Palam Trilokyanatho Vibhuhu. There is a one God. Shivas are calling him as a Shiva. Vaishnavas call him as a Vaishnava. Shaktas call him as a Shakti. The Buddhas call him as a Buddha, and Jainas call him as a Arhan. But there is a one God. Let he protect us. This is the inscription from Hoysalas. So like that, the syncretism they wanted, because to protect the orthodox religions. Because if there is an unrest between six sects, they cannot refute the other religions or other Nastika religions. So that's what they wanted to bring an harmony in Orthodox sects, and also they wanted to make harmony between the Orthodox and heterodox sects. So that's what the Hoysalas in the region, they supported all the three religions, like Hindu philosophy and also Jaina and also Buddha. We can see, and many sects, whatever the sects are there, six sects, all images, sculptural representation of all six sects gods are seen on the wall of Hoysalas. This is the beauty of the Hoysala rulers. So even in 1638, like after Hoysalas, Vijayanagara came into power. Even Bukkara inscription of Shravanabelagula, it teaches, or it gives a good example for the harmony between Jainism and Sri Vaishnavism. So king himself, he appears and he pacifies both the Jainas and Sri Vaishnavas, and he makes assurance to live within harmony and peace. This is the example from book of Vijayanagara period also. So the total image of Hariharaditya, here it is seen to show that there was the what you say, syncretism for the peace and the harmony of the society is represented. An example from Kikkeri Brahmeshwara temple. I am thankful to the Kerala University giving an opportunity to me to speak here to august presence of you all people.